never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, howdy folks, how are ya? Sorry about last night. I did warn you earlier in the week that I was going to catch up with my daughter for dinner, so that's sort of what happened there, and I did hope that I'd have time to come on and do something beforehand, but unfortunately the day just went really quick and didn't stop. Busy. But I did get to spend a couple of hours with Laura, which was great because haven't had any time with her just us for a while actually, so we both enjoyed it. So my apologies for that, not being around last night. I did think I'd get a show out on the drive home, which was the plan, but it turned out very difficult to do that when you have to do it off a phone, and I didn't have a phone holder in the car to do it from, so I would have to hold the phone, and that would have been not good. So that's why that didn't happen. And look, so much has happened in the interim. Israel has launched preemptive strikes on Iran today. This is in spite of the fact that Donald Trump has been urging Netanyahu to pull his head in and pull back in the war, particularly in Gaza. But obviously, I think the Americans may have had some idea of what was going on in Iran, or what the Israelis planned. Now, that strike, Western media are probably going to tell us it's been wonderfully successful. I would suggest we might want to wait a little while, because the assessments that come through, the battle damage assessments that come through after this, will take a few hours. I'm just having a bit of a scan through some of the reports that are coming through from mainstream media, and at the moment it looks like scattered loud explosions being heard in different locations. Iran state television is reporting. The Israeli foreign minister has come out and said that they're launching preemptive strikes against Iran. What have Iran done to deserve these preemptive strikes? Exactly. I know that they, behind the scenes, supposedly fund Hezbollah and numerous other terrorist organizations. That may well be true. I haven't heard too much from any terrorist organization recently. Maybe they were all in training in Gaza when that got buried. Not sure. But certainly it looks like the Israelis have meant business. They've launched attacks into cities. Don't know. Looks like some of this could be residential, what I'm seeing here. So we will wait and see. The IDF says that Iran has enough enriched uranium to build several bombs within days. Smells like Saddam Hussein here to me all over again. Within days, and it needs to act against this imminent threat. The man in charge of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is crazy. He is fighting for his own survival inside his own country. None of the decent Jewish people who live there want anything to do with this mad Zionist. And, well, it seems today he's obviously been pushed one step too far. It will be interesting to see how the Americans reply to this, and what whether that involves support or, and by way of military support, I mean, not just vocal or diplomatic support, but military aid, military help. That means eyes on the ground probably, and missiles in the air. This would go against everything Donald Trump's been saying of late. So I would think the next communications from America and Israel will be most interesting. It appears that somebody of note, the head of the Revolutionary Guard in Iran, has been killed in one of these attacks. It was a guard headquarters that was struck. That may well have been some of the vision that I was alluding to before that I was seeing. And there is a whole heap in mainstream media. There's just a whole heap of Israeli excuses as to why they had to do it. Well, they had to do it because they can't afford not to. There are some interesting prophecies playing out at the moment, folks, and we will talk more about them, though probably not now and probably not tonight, but most probably over the weekend. Tonight, I will have a bit of a chat going forward from a different location. Tonight, I'm going to be in Jimboomba, which is in the southeast corner of Queensland, if you like, in the southern reaches of Brisbane, heading towards Bow Desert. If you are anywhere in sort of the southern areas of Brizzy and you'd like to catch up, the Jimboomba, I think we're at the RSL, My Place event. So check My Place Jimboomba through the Unity Hub if you're part of that, or the Ainslie Bullion site. They'll be telling you exactly where they're at tonight under their events too. They're presenting tonight, and the Spy Master will be there for those of you that might be interested in meeting her. So if you don't know who the Spy Master is, then you're not keeping up. But rest assured, we'd be very interested in meeting you. So come along, meet us. My Place Jimboomba tonight. I think it's from about 6 or 6:30. It all kicks off. The presentations will go on. I will do, I hope, a bit of a show before then. That may not happen because I'm actually being a bit of a driver and I'm picking people up from airports this afternoon, and I've got to get them to that event on time, so to speak. So that might mean I'm still driving at 6:30. Regardless, I will hit the live button off the mobile phone, and if Vince is available, I'll get him to panel the whole thing, and so we can put it out across all these channels, and we can have a bit of a chat about some of the other happenings of today. And there is clearly going to be a lot more information coming out from Iran in the near future. I'm just having a bit of a scan down some of your things. Hi, Rach. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, the reason you waited so long was because I was still trying to figure things out, and I didn't set a time up for the broadcast. So it was just whenever I hit the live button. So that's why it sat and waited. Sorry, Rach. Sorry, Mick. Can't talk to you right now. But I am seeing what you're delivering. Although you're probably not watching the show, are you? So yeah, Rach. Sorry about that. Had you wandering around. Hello, Connie. Oh, God. I caught up with Connie yesterday, folks, and right now I am defrosting something that I'll be having for lunch in the not-too-distant future, and it's a, well, magnificent soup. I may take a small video of that, but Connie, thank you so much. She sent me home with a whole heap of some magnificent foods. So the freezer is full. The tummy will be very shortly too. So God love you, Connie. And Alan, thank you very much. G'day, Pete. Got your photos, and I will add those into tonight's show so that we can show them out, or whatever happens over the weekend, depending on how well this works out. The USDC is going on to the XRP ledger. People following crypto, I know Vince and Mark are going to, if they haven't already, done another show on the FBN network. If you haven't already liked and subscribed here, please do, and then go over and check out the FBN media channel on Rumble and YouTube, and like and subscribe there too. There'll be another crypto show with the boys in the very near future, I know. CBDC, sorry, Bill. Open carry states are going to be interesting in what's going on in America at the moment. Well, Carl, your Facebook channel just came up. Is it normal to be slower? I don't know, Daniel. Everything is pretty slow with this sort of thing. I can start the show on this computer and log in on another computer and watch it, so to speak, and there will be at least a 30-second lag, 15-second lag, at least a 15-second lag, and yet others are seeing it almost simultaneously. I think it has something to do with how you get into the queue for the stream, but Vince is probably better placed to answer those sorts of questions. So I'll write that one down and we'll ask him that very question. There are, or have been, a number of flurried phone calls and conversations since our last little chat, the part 2 of the last little chat, night before last. In it, I spoke about this covenant document that Jackie Dundee has put together. Great document. Wasted now, unfortunately, but a great document. And I mentioned Jody Lowe and his plan to travel the Cairns to Canberra route to deliver these signed documents, the covenant documents. I raised a lot of concerns about, well, not concerns, they're just genuine questions, I thought. Where will all this be going? Who are we delivering it to that's going to make a difference when other things have been delivered to others previously and made no difference at all? The biggest question that I have is how many signatures will make the difference? Because we've covered Canberra in petitions and signed notices and other forms of paper 20 times over for years, and we haven't got very far. So I simply raised some concerns about where the document was going, who it was going to be given to, and what was the expectation from whoever received it. The fact that it was going to be delivered in Canberra at a time when the politicians aren't there even didn't seem to matter to Jackie, and I found it a bit confusing, the route that they were taking, for the reasons I outlined in that part 2. Now, I have spoken to Jody since, and I probably went a bit hard on him. It turns out Jody and I don't know each other from Adam, and we spent some time on the phone yesterday getting to know each other a little bit. And it turns out that we're probably a lot more tightly aligned than either of us may have first imagined. Like me, Jody is trying to do everything he can to bring about a result. And you got to commend him for that. You got to commend all of us for trying to bring about a result, a positive result for what we are doing here. Whether that result is getting 1 million signatures or 1,000 signatures or 10 million signatures, or whether it's just the fact that you are getting in and around your people and supporting them, lifting them up when they're struggling, because that's as much of a win in a unifying sense that as what we could hope for you to support your fellow human beings, your friends, your family, and the strangers around you that need it. That's one way we are going to level up our consciousness, to think more of others than we do ourselves. I'm sure Jody is nothing but on our side in that regard. He's 100% staunch, trying to do what he can do to enlighten people, get the message spread, and to gain more bodies in this fight that we are definitely fighting, even if the normies out there don't believe there is any kind of a war. So I didn't get from him any great grandiose statements or anything that looks like it would be, ego feeding ego. So if I alluded to ego being an issue with him in the previous broadcast, then I'm sorry. Outward appearances at the time, being what they were, and my understanding and knowledge of how an ego works, it looked like one thing to me. But after a conversation with Jody yesterday, I fully appreciate that he's not in this for ego. He's in it because he knows it's a war. He has found a niche and is exploiting that niche really well, getting the message out. So all power to him. And I have no idea whether or not this Cairns to Canberra thing will still be going on. I won't be part of it, not because I don't necessarily want to be part of it. I just don't want to be part of anything that's a wasted effort. To get that bus of mine on the road and to travel down to Canberra is going to require about $1,000 worth of fuel, and about $1,000 worth of fuel to get it back if I have to come back this way. It's certainly going to require fuel in Canberra to get from there to anywhere else. So it's a fairly expensive exercise. I would be happy to raise that money, to spend that money on fuel and to go to Canberra if I thought we were going to make a difference. But who drives to Canberra in mid-friggin' winter to deliver what could be anywhere from 10 to many thousands of signed documents to persons unknown in places undisclosed at their own cost when the politicians aren't in town? So to me, that whole thing smacked of just being put together too quickly. But it turns out Jody was just trying to support Jackie in her endeavours to get her document out. And once again, he can't be faulted for doing that. So I don't know whether or not all that's still happening. If it is, good luck to them, all power to them. But it's not something I can currently see why I would support. And I certainly won't sign because for the reasons I outlined in my previous broadcast, you never know where that signature is going to wind up and on whose list it's going to be. Your name will be checked off against or added to. So I have concerns about that kind of thing, but many of you others don't. So that's cool. I understand, and all power to you, each to their own. Spazza. Well, it's not a matter of people not wanting to cover your story, if I'm honest. And I know your story. You know, we've talked about it. There are ways and means of approaching the story, and I would like nothing better than to blow it wide open. But at the moment, there is, as we are experiencing in our offline conversations, Spazza, we don't have names of the appropriate people. And at the moment, it would be just telegraphing all your punches, a bit like what's happened with this document, telegraphing all your punches into an empty paddock while the opposition steps back and watches you swing and avoids your punches and then figures out a defense for the next time you come attacking them. So we need a few things before we can go telling your story, because if we tell your story in the way I suspect you want to tell it, we're going to wind up getting our ass sued off. And that's not something I can afford, you can afford, or any of us are actually interested in. So stories are always up to be told. Nobody's ignoring you. And I hope you would agree that behind the scenes over the last how many years, Spazza? Well, I haven't been in there in person for you because I can't travel all over the country and be everywhere for everyone. I have been there for you when you needed it. So, and been able to hook you up with people and help, help has come. So please don't think that you're being ignored, mate. Nothing further from the truth. If anything, we are trying to protect you a little bit while we gather further information. And when I say we gather that further information, brother, you're the one gathering it. All right? You're the one that knows where to look. You're the one whose story it is. And I know it's a painful story. And folks, all you need to do is look up Westbrook, right? Westbrook Boys Reformatory or something it was called, or Boys Home in Queensland. And there was a royal commission into the place. Filthy pricks who worked there. And unfortunately, Spazza was I want to say unlawfully, sent there as a very young boy. And he was left there for 8 months before the supposed charges they had on him were dropped. And it was proved somebody else had done the crime that he was being held for. He should have been out on bail. There shouldn't have been any Westbrook in his past, because he should never have gone there for a variety of reasons. And that's part of what we're all finding out behind the scenes with him now. What is interesting is that a number of the names on the documents that put him in Westbrook have been removed from those documents, the names, doctors especially. That's a very interesting development, and it's a recent one. So there is more hunting to do, but that gives you a taste of the story of just one of our family here. And unfortunately, there are many of you who have similar stories, not of Westbrook, but of satanic ritual abuse, of MK Ultra, of just monsters living in your family, living in your town, predators preying upon kids and others. There are a lot of stories like that out of our Voice of Freedom family. And I'm aware that you don't know them all. You can't. You only know yours. But please be aware that when you tell me yours, you are but one story I am being told. Because sadly, many people in our Voice of Freedom family have suffered at the hands of these bastards. And I want nothing more than to gain justice for all of you. But there is no point going off like a frog in a sock, no point going off in a way that telegraphs the punch, and there is no point in going off in a way that gets me locked up. So we do it a different way. And it may not be the fastest way, but it is the only way one bloke working on behalf of many of you can do it. I am just me. Nobody else does my research. Nobody else helps. The circle of truth is tight around me. But hey, if you want to help, you can always use help. And when I say the research is me, it's not. I get a lot of help from you people. A lot of help. And Mick, who was ringing there before, is one of them. Now, I get a lot of people send me a lot of stuff. That's because I can't sit down and read everything everywhere all day. So I get stuff sent to me that either piques my interest or doesn't. And I select from that what I'll tell and talk to you about when I get a show going. And I'll research those bits and pieces as best I can in the hours, days, or weeks beforehand. And this Westbrook thing is a month's kind of investigation thing, and we can only go so far. And I can't really get any official information because I'm not attached to any of it officially. The only person who can do that are the people involved in those investigations. So we're working through that. And the day will come where the whole story will be told. And trust me, folks, you will be horrified at this story. But we just need to be careful, and we don't need to go and get anybody arrested. Aussie Sue, you had cousins. Is that one? Into the Ballarat boys' home in the 70s. They never got over what they went through. Yep. So I lived in Western Victoria in the 70s and 80s. There was one particular family in my town that I grew up with where their boys wound up going to the Ballarat Reformatory, or there was another one, Langy Calcal, I want to call it. Maybe not, but it was somewhere between Ararat and Ballarat. I believe that there were atrocities committed there by the staff against the boys on a very regular basis. In fact, I can't think of a reformatory that doesn't have those sorts of stories attached to it, sadly. And if you look at the time frame or the timeline, it's that late 60s, 70s, 80s period where everything really changed, okay, where the demons took over, the corporate took over, and the people went on blithely into the day thinking nothing had changed. So anyway, moving on. Interesting things happening in the wind. So I'm going to go away and have a bit of a look at what's coming out of Israel particularly, but there will be no doubt some rather interesting vision to be shown. Israel will want to brag, will want to show off its missiles hitting and all that sort of stuff. But if you remember the last time Israel tried this and they used F-35s as well as drones and cruise missiles and all that sort of stuff, they had very little effect. Iran's defenses were very, very good. Russian-backed S-300s, I think they have as a radar system or their own version of it. And they've got a missile system to match. So they shot down a number of Israeli F-35s and F-22s in that attack. And these are long-range standoff fighters that are firing their weapons from a long, long way away. The problem is Iran is a very big country and they have a lot of weapons and a lot of weapon systems spaced out very strategically all over it. It bristles like a porcupine with weaponry. So I'll be interested to see how well the Israelis went this time, and I'll be more interested to find out how much the Americans' involvement was, given all this blah-de-blah-de-blah that we're hearing from Donald Trump at the moment. Oh, and speaking of Donald Trump, he has kicked Gavin Newsom fair in the nuts today. Newsom and Trump have been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over the last few days about particularly the National Guard and then Marines being stationed in Los Angeles to protect government facilities. Newsom, when asked if Trump had been in contact with him and they'd had any discussions, said no. There'd been no communications, no telephone call, no nothing. This is after Trump had said, oh, yes, I've spoken to Newsom and asked him to clean things up. Well, Newsom put out a tweet that said, that's bullshit. I haven't spoken to him. He had no voicemail, no nothing. So what did Donald Trump do? From Air Force One, he contacted whoever was on air at Fox News or whoever, one of the friendly ones, and said, I'm going to release the call log. So here, have a look at this. And it proved Gavin Newsom on the phone, 1:23 a.m. or 1:24 a.m. for 16 minutes. Newsom lied. Why would Newsom lie about that? Well, because he's a Democrat. Anyway, if that hasn't got him smarting in the googlies right about now, then Gavin Newsom is as nutless as we probably all believe him to be. And that would also make him absolutely useless for any right-thinking people still left in California. I'm not sure that any right-thinking people are still left in California. I think they've all moved to other states by now, which will mean that California stands a very, very, very good chance of burning to the ground unless the Marines and the National Guard stop them. And I'll be honest, folks, I've met some Marines in my past. These are not people you muck around with. I mean, neither are our serious Aussie soldiers. And when I say serious Aussie soldiers, I'm talking about our commando units and the former SAS guys. They are very, very well trained, very motivated, very dedicated to mission people. That's not to say that the infantry isn't, but they're just a different kind of soldier, right? The Marine, different all over again. The Marine has had his brain removed and has had a military machine inserted between his ears. That machine takes orders from the next higher up level of machine, and nothing stops the Marine from carrying out those orders short of death. So if you are stupid enough to stand in front of a Marine and challenge them on the streets of Los Angeles, you will be put down, and you will be put down in the harshest of manners. They may not shoot to kill. They won't have to. They just pick you up and body slam you. That'll be the end. And if this ever comes here with the 10 days of darkness and military on the streets and we can't go anywhere and don't stick your head out, remember all that? Well, if that ever happens, take it seriously. Do not poke your head out the door. Do not go and challenge the soldier walking past your door. Do not challenge anybody in uniform with weapons that is official doing official shit, because the military work to a different code. It has nothing to do with what civilians might say, think, or feel about what's lawful or what isn't lawful. If the Marines or the military are on our streets or theirs, it's because they've been ordered to. And that means the laws have changed. You better understand military law if you're going to go and pick a fight with the military, just saying. So there's a lot of military movement on the streets of Los Angeles. Not just on the streets of Los Angeles, but across America at the moment. Why? Well, June 14. So it'll be Sunday or Saturday night our time where bedlam is likely to start breaking out across America. I showed you the map from nokings.org. Please feel free to go and check it out, nokings.org. This is the Soros-backed left. Got a thing that's kicked for no apparent reason. Shut up! Bloody thing. So this nokings.org is a Soros-backed organization. It's a bit like GetUp, only a lot bigger and a lot more dangerous and a lot better funded, because it's not just Soros that's involved. They've also been able to track Chinese intelligence operating in the background of this, and that is where a lot of this protective equipment and the bricks and missile stones that are being left in various cities for collection by those protesting. Protesting. Is it protesting when you loot the shops you're walking past? Is that a protest, or is that just a cover for looting? Whatever happened to looters will be shot on sight. Now that is a message that needs to be broadcast across America now, all through the night, all through the next few days. Looters will be shot on sight. Those two police officers that I showed you the other night, who were valiantly trying to stop looters coming out of a high-end business somewhere there in Los Angeles, and basically got run over, trampled. They're lucky they didn't get killed. Well, they could have just stood back. They would have only had to shoot one or two coming out the door to start with. The rest of them would have stayed inside, put all their stuff down, and tried very hard to find a way out. Looters should be shot on sight. To loot under guise of protesting, ICE removals is just gutless, weak, cowardly thievery. And you deserve nothing better nothing less than to be shot on sight for looting. And it would make the Los Angeles police a lot safer. They wouldn't have to go and get trampled to death by these morons tearing out the doors. But anyway, military law cometh, and when military law cometh, shot on sight will be the rig de jour. Trust me. They won't ask questions. They'll just put one where you won't see any daylight anymore, and that'll be that. Not a happy day so far today. Sorry about that. Getting a bit heavy. Hey, weird for one in the middle of the day. And the reason I'm doing this is trying to make up for lack of a show last night, and what will be a fairly thin show tonight. I'm just going to try and grab a few people to have a bit of a talk to if I can out of Jimboomba. If you're around, we'll love to look forward to catching up. But if you want to come out and say good day, maybe have a beer, then love to see you. You can have the beer, I'll be driving, but we can catch up and have a bit of a chat. So look forward to seeing you there tonight in Jimboomba, the My Place Jimboomba. It is Ainslie Bullion evening, and then Freedom Financial Solutions will be presenting as well. So if you want to learn about self-managed super funds, and at the moment, you've got to be pretty happy if you were, taking our advice and got into a self-managed super fund in the last couple of years, and you managed to put your money into gold and silver. Right now, Ainslie Bullion tell me that silver is at $56.31 spot, and gold is at $5,306.85. The gold silver index has gone up just fractionally from the other night. We're up at 94. So that is 94 ounces of silver to make 1 ounce of gold. You want that number to come down, and that will mean that the silver price is coming up, and parity may well be attained, like they've been saying, anytime soon. My plan was to talk with Michael today from Ainslie, but there is a lot of official things going on there at the moment, and he's a bit busy. I'm also running around today like a proverbial blue ass, and have to go and make another airport run. So I've got to pick some people up and make sure that they get delivered to the event tonight as well. So I'm going to shoot off and let you go off and enjoy your afternoon. We will have a bit of a chat later on this afternoon when I get to Jimboomba. And when I say this afternoon, I guess that's probably going to be this evening, given flight arrival times and where I've got to drive from and where I've got to drive to. So, yes, let's be honest, it will be probably after 6:30 tonight before I get to catch up with your faces again, sadly. And on that note, while I'm out avoiding the dickheads on the road, I'm going to wish you all the best and do the same. I encourage it.
One ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!